Welcome back to another roundtable discussion. Today we have the head coach of Eastern Michigan, Coach Eric Roof, and we have the assistant and second-time visitor to one of our shows, Danny Worth from Pepperdine. Good morning, boys. I'm going to throw it right to you, Eric, as a first-time visitor. Plug the program. What's the best pitch if I'm a recruit? Why should I go to EMU?
Yeah, well, first off, thanks for having me, Josh. I've watched a lot of your videos, so I appreciate you letting me jump on the call. But yeah, head coach at Eastern Michigan. Obviously, my name is Eric Roof, and this is going into my third year with the program. Eastern Michigan is in Ypsilanti, Michigan. We're a Division I school in the MAC conference, about 45 minutes away from Detroit and about 10 minutes away from Ann Arbor. So really great campus, really great university, strong history in their baseball program. There's a lot of success throughout the program. Teams that have gone on to the College World Series, finished runners-up. The 1970 team won the NAIA World Series. So a strong history of baseball, and very fortunate at an early age to be able to lead this program and get a chance to be the head coach here. So got a beautiful campus, beautiful field, turf infield, grass outfield. You got lights, you got the indoors. So a really cool setup, and it's been a privilege and an honor to be the head coach here.
And your brother coaches with you, and from talking with you previously, you have a pedigree, a long family tree of baseball. Is that correct? Connections throughout the game?
Yeah. My dad is the youngest of 10. So he had 9 boys and one sister. So there's 10 of them total. And I think 5 of them played professional baseball. So when we go home for Christmas break, Thanksgiving break, it's all baseball, baseball, baseball. My older brother is in the Diamondbacks organization. He played at Illinois, got a chance to play with them in the Tigers organization. Then my younger brother, I played with at Michigan State, and he played professional baseball, got up to AAA. And it's really been cool to be able to hire him and be able to work with him with the program.
Nice. So you're his boss. Is he older or younger than you?
He's younger. So he's been used to me bossing him around his whole life.
Gotcha.
But I think that the cool thing about hiring Jonathan and then our other assistant coach is AJ Octor, who played with me at Michigan State, ended up getting to the big leagues with the Angels and the Twins, is there's guys that you've had a strong relationship with. My brother, obviously, my whole life, but AJ, it's going back 10, 15 years, that you trust one another. It's not a yes man that's just going to tell you what you want to hear. And it's a guy that, has gone through the experience as a player that you can say, hey, this reminds me of that player. This reminds me of this player. So it's really been cool to have him in the program and being able to work with him every day.
So Coach Worth, you and I spoke before, but it was more about kind of your career. We didn't jump too much into Pepperdine. I know the field is awesome. It's backed up to you can hit a home run into the Pacific Ocean, I think, right? But what's the setup like out there for you guys?
Yeah, thanks for having me on again, Josh. It's but our setup, beach, everyone loves the view, but Christian faith-based school, faith-based education, private school, really good academics, historically good baseball program. It's an intimate, unique school with our, smaller student body size, about 3,600 people, undergrads. It's just in Malibu, so we're not in the heart of LA, but right outside of it, and great facilities, and it's a great setup. Coach Hergensteiner, our head coach, been there for over 20 years. I played there, so it's good to have some Pepperdine guys on the staff, and trying to steer in the right direction.
So okay, you're both dealing with different challenges here. Eric, you have the luxury of being a public school, which can make things more financially feasible for families, whereas Pepperdine's a private school, could come in at a higher price tag. Yet on the flip side, Pepperdine is in a location further south and warmer, which makes it a little bit easier to recruit. So let's go through how you battle those two things. Okay, so Coach Worth, we'll go to you first. If I'm a recruit, I'm concerned about the finances at Pepperdine. Like, how do you guys get over that big hurdle in recruiting?
Well, we're open about it. We have to, bring it out on the table quickly. It's, it's not It's not a thing that people don't know about, and but we just trying to find the fit for the players and the families that want that. They want that private education. They want that experience, and they can make it work. We have financial aid and academic aid and other kinds of aid that could help out. But yeah, we have a lot of serious talks with a lot of the families and a lot of the parents all the time about it, because it is a big decision. Where your kid's going to go to school, and where that player wants to play. So it's we just bring it on the table and talk it and see if it could work, and we go from there.
Well, in dealing with you before, I like the way that you guys have always handled it, where it's like one of the first things you talk about, like, is this even, possible for the family? I tell families a lot, and you can disagree with me or agree with me. I'm really looking for you to tell us here. Isn't it okay for families to bring up money like pretty quickly in the process? I think a lot of them are worried that if we ask about money, it's going to be a turnoff to the coaches. But it's a really important thing to figure out if this school is even possible for our family. So is it okay to bring up money early in the conversation?
Yeah, of course. I mean, obviously we identify talent on the field first, and then we go from there. But yeah, we don't mind at all if a family calls. I had a call the other day with the parents, and it was the second time I talked to that student athlete, and the parents jumped on and talked to me about finances right away and everything that the school had to offer. And with the academic side of it too, not only are we looking at financial, but the grades to get in as well. So yeah, I mean, it weeds itself out a little quickly, but we have to find the guys that are the right fit, that want to be Pepperdine Waves.
Coach Roof, you guys are, as a northern club, you battle that a little bit. Baseball players like to be in warm a lot, it seems like. So what's the pitch there if you got a kid coming from a southern state or a warm climate state? I'm a little bit scared to go play in cold weather. Like, how do you get past that hurdle?
Yeah, that's a question that comes up a bunch, right? That you'll see. When I first came here about 6 years ago, Eastern Michigan had in-state reciprocity with students, players that were in obviously the state of Michigan and also in Ohio. So you could get in-state tuition with Michigan and Ohio. Now, since then, in the last 3 years, we actually have in-state tuition throughout the country. So I think the first thing that you can tell them is just the affordability of coming to Eastern Michigan in a very affordable college. You obviously have the 11.7 scholarships, but you have some really good academic aid on top of that as well. My argument for them is that the first 20 games for us are going to be on the road. As a mid-major team, a northern team, we're going to play on the road. So yes, there's going to be some snow on the ground. I'm definitely not going to mislead them there. But when we're playing our games, those first 20 games are on the road. So you're going to go play in some cool atmospheres. You're going to go play down south. I think you're seeing a little bit more of a newer trend where guys staying up north and having success up north. You're seeing what's happened just right down the road at University of Michigan, where they're developing a lot of players, and a lot of players are coming from the state of Michigan too. So I think it's getting a little bit more acceptable to kind of find the right fit, not only for us as coaches, but for players, and then going there and then obviously, having some success.
I get caught up with the location mattering, or if that's the right word, the location meaning something in a decision. I get caught up with that because I'm surrounded by kids making the decision. And then just 2 days ago or 3 days ago, we talked with Dan Straley, who's been all over the country playing pro ball and is now in the KBO. And I asked him, like, how much does location really matter? And I put the clip out yesterday. It kind of hit me. He's like, the only location that matters is the mound. Like, I'm 60 feet, 6 inches away, and that's your job. You don't get to pick where you go once you get past college. So yeah, that kind of struck me. So Coach Worth, you and Coach Roof know each other. How do you guys know each other?
From the Tigers organization. His dad, longtime outfield base running coordinator there, manager, Tiger, everything. And then I played with his older brother. We were drafted same year, and yeah, a lot of Roof times in Tiger baseball.
So I think it's an important thing. I mean, you have a guy here from Pepperdine, you have a guy from Eastern Michigan, which is totally different. right? Like opposite spectrums, I feel like, of college baseball with the setups that you have going on. Yeah, you guys are good buddies. And I think that speaks to a big point for recruits, that it's a small knit community of coaches. How do coaches, Danny, work together? How close is that community?
It is close. I mean, we have, a history, and we've talked quite a bit. I think, even during the season, talked about some things and how the seasons were going, how our ball clubs were doing. I mean, we all know each other. And if you don't, you get to know the guys pretty quickly, out on the trail or out in the field. And, there's a bunch of really good coaches across the country.
Coach Roof, how often do you rely on coaches, college coaches in other parts of the country? Because I think a lot of recruits don't realize just how much access you have to them. If, say, they're in Florida and you're in Michigan, like they don't realize, like, yeah, you got little cells everywhere, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it all stems from the relationship. I actually got a chance to play with Danny, in the fall instructional league. And then in 2010, I was a non-roster invite to big league spring training. So I was being able to be teammates with them. So you stay in touch with those guys because obviously when you know those guys, you want to see them succeed. And it's cool just to follow every guy's journey throughout baseball and throughout life, to see them have a family, to see them have kids. And then I think it's our responsibility as coaches to pick each other's brains. Hey, how do you guys do things over there? Hey, what are you guys learning? What's worked for you? What did the Tigers teach you that maybe the Astros didn't? What did the Astros teach you that maybe the Tigers didn't? So coaching, just like any other profession, very tight-knit group. You stay in contact with a lot of those guys, but you're asking them for questions. You're looking for advice. Just like a player is trying to find ways to get better, so are coaches. So I think it's my responsibility is to pick brains of people that I look up to and are obviously successful and talented, and seeing what they're doing, because if they're having success, there's probably a reason why.
So you guys put a nice positive spin on that, but let me look at the negative side of that for recruits as well. Have you had situations where a recruit has name dropped or said, yeah, I'm talking to this coach, or I've been offered by this guy or whatever, and then you actually know the guy and you go check in and it maybe isn't the full truth? Has that happened to you, Eric?
Where a guy tells me he's talking to a school and then I ask him.
You just ask the school straight up because that's your buddy there or something.
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, we're not really in any recruiting battles with Pepperdine. But yeah, there could be a conversation where you have, hey, I've been talking to this school, and it comes out of left field that you may give that guy a call and say, hey, he told me you guys were going to offer him. Is that the case? I think the truth always comes out. And it does happen though, where a guy says he's been talking to school A, and you call up that coach and he's like, yeah, he sent us an email and we invited him to camp, and that was about it. So sometimes when a player says he's getting recruited, sometimes it can mean a couple different things. So that's where you have to kind of break that down. All right, was that a camp? Was that an email? Was that a phone call? Was that a visit? Did they have you out for a football game? And then you can kind of weed through the truth a little bit there.
Coach Worth, what is the most difficult part about COVID recruiting for you right now?
COVID recruiting?
Yeah.
Just getting, I guess, just missing the physical recruiting. We're doing the video, we're collecting as much data, talking to as many people as we can about recruits. So we're doing everything we can except for seeing people. And I think the most important part of recruiting is just trusting your own eye. At the end, you get recommendations from a million coaches, a lot of people that want to come to Pepperdine or wherever. And, it's all going to come down to me or Coach Hertensteiner, Coach Lawler going out and seeing that guy and liking them. So yeah, that's the hardest thing.
Okay, so we can't go anywhere, Coach Worth. That's set in stone. Let's just pretend like we can never go anywhere ever again. What do you need? Like, what do you need more of to recruit kids? Like, are you having trouble finding live streams? Are kids just not getting, videos they need? Like, what is going to help them or help you in the process? Just understanding that we're not leaving anywhere right now.
Yeah, more of everything. more video. And I think the biggest thing for me personally is just more like live broadcasted games with better camera angles. Some of them are pretty tough, pretty far away. And then, you know, if you're really honing down on a guy, like let's say a pitcher, you might want, you know, right behind the catcher angle, then the side angle, and then maybe behind. And that's just kind of really hard right now to do in the games that they're playing.
Coach Roof, are you willing to make decisions off of video right now? I know every staff has pretty much had that discussion right now. If we get to that point, are we going to have to recruit and just go off video? Are you guys to that point yet?
Yes and no. I think some of it is the homework that you put forth the last couple of years, where you have that database of guys that's saying, hey, these are our top end guys, and you have a strong list together. And then you can piggyback that, like what Danny was saying, with some streams. Fortunate for us in Michigan and Ohio, PBR has done a great job of getting that stream out there. So you can still watch players play from your couch. Now, you know, sometimes you have to work on, like Danny's saying, the angle of the camera and the location, and then verify maybe the velocity on the mound. But a little bit of both. I'm like Danny, where for me, I like to go to the game. I like to just go there in person, get there early, get a good seat, kind of stand out where you want to be, and be able to watch that game all 9 innings, or as long as the game goes. You know, I don't think we need to make a rush into a judgment of recruiting a guy just because someone else is. I think it's got to be the right fit for us on our schedule too. So, like Danny mentioned too, you're actually, the recommendations that a lot of the coaches, summer ball coaches, high school coaches that you trust can really give you that set of eyes that you're kind of missing right now through that whole process. So those relationships of the guys that you rely on through that recruiting process has helped out. So we've made some offers so far, and we're still looking at areas of adding to the program as we speak.
Coach Worth, you're doing virtual tours right now. Do you feel like those are effective? Like, what does if I'm going to go on a virtual tour with you today, what am I going to see?
You're going to see the campus. You're going to see the facilities. You're going to see a classroom. Like the other day, I got lucky that one was open. Yeah, you're going to try to get that missing piece of the puzzle that you can't see right now. And especially for us recruiting nationally, you know, being out of state, you know, some guys can't get there. So we're just dealing with it the best we can. And, you know, just walking around with the phone in my hand, showing them Pepperdine.
So you're getting your steps in, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Are parents and families, like, what's the sense you're getting in terms of how much those offer them? Like, are they feeling like a much better, I guess, or much more comfortable after those, or is it can only go so far? They need to see it also.
Yeah, I think, you know, both sides were appreciative, them of me walking around, and, you know, me of having their time. And then, yeah, I think it helps. It just, you know, the families, they want to see it. And if they can't see it in person, like us recruiting right now, you know, we're going to try to make do with the best we can. And, you know, it might help just making them a little more comfortable with the decision.
Coach Roof, you had mentioned, you know, we're not going to make an offer or push on a kid just because somebody else is. There's a lot of that happening right now where teams are pushing to try to get ahead maybe of somebody else. I haven't met one coach yet who says, oh, the NCAA recruiting system is perfect. You know, do you have concerns about where recruiting is going right now?
That's a good question. I think no matter what you're at, you have to deal with basically the standards that are in place. So you may be unhappy with how things go, or maybe there's some concerns on how recruiting goes, but that's kind of the nature of the beast. So either adapt or die. So I think, yeah, everything could be tweaked, right? I think any successful business, any successful organization isn't successful just by saying, hey, this is the right way of doing things. Let's just keep doing it this way. So I think things evolve and things grow and build off things. But, you know, we've got to do what's best for Eastern Michigan. And if it's the right fit, you know, we're a little bit different than Pepperdine, like Danny was talking about. We're recruiting a little bit more regional. So the guys that we're looking at maybe they're only an hour or 2 hours away where they can drive to campus and they can actually walk through some of those stuff. Now they can't go through dorms, they can't go through buildings, there won't be certain facilities won't be open, but they can see it a little bit more in person, which gives us an opportunity for us to continue to recruit. But yeah, I mean, do I think that the recruiting standards could be a little bit improved, enhanced? Yeah, of course. But I think, like you said, there's no perfect solution. So,
Nice.
that's up to somebody that's makes a little bit more money than me to make those decisions.
Nicely done with that question, sir. Really nicely done. Coach Worth, so you're going to get travel coaches reaching out to you, or advisors or high school coaches. And when they come to you to tell you about a player, what should they be doing to give you the right information in the most concise manner possible right away? Because I know you get your ear talked off a lot about kids, but what do you need from a travel coach if they want to reach out to you about a kid?
I need everything. I need, spreadsheets like you've given me. I need video. I need possible other recommendations from other people that you know of or they know of, just all the information possible, and just continue to talk about that student athlete. So yeah, there's not one thing, it's just everything.
Right. Coach Roof, is there information that you often get from players or from coaches that you're like, I don't know why they send this to me. I don't need this kind of stuff. I need this kind of stuff. Do you ever feel that way about any sort of, resources they're sending you?
I'm sure they do. I can't think of anything off the top of my head. Like Danny, the more information we have, the better. I mean, when we're taking a chance on a player, it's an opportunity to jump into the program, and it's an investment, right? Whether we're offering them a scholarship or not. So the more information we can have, the better. I like going to a game and watching the kid fail if we're recruiting him really hard, just to see how he handles that failure too. So I want to know the good. I kind of want to know the bad. All right, where does he need to improve? The makeup piece is huge. I think the makeup piece in this game is the difference maker the higher you go. And that's why you're seeing guys have success at higher levels, is because generally they're able to make adjustments quicker and they can overcome that adversity, and they can kind of grind it out. So to answer your question, nothing off the top of my head.
Okay, that's all right. That's good. That means they're getting smarter, and sending you the right things, including transcripts and videos and references, things like that. So they're getting smarter. That's good.
I'll actually add this. Sorry.
Go.
I'd like them to give me specifics. Okay, so like I recruited a kid a couple years ago, and I asked him how his grades were, and he said it's pretty good. And I said, all right, how about you define pretty good? And he tells me it's like a 2.6. So just being able to be a little bit more specific instead of just a generic, yeah, pretty good grades. Because 2.6 is
above average. It's above the 2.5 average mark, so they're above average, Coach. All right, Coach Worth, right? Typically, you want shorter videos. You can see what you need to see in a shorter video to then decide if you want to go evaluate a player. Right now, do you want to see a 5-minute video of a full at bat and how that kid's stepping in and out of the box and resetting? Do you want to see, a 15-minute video of a kid on the mound and not edited, like how he, the presence on the mound, or you still don't have the attention span to watch those videos?
No, I normally just like the little clips, but in these times I have asked for entire clips, entire at-bats, entire innings, if that's possible, in like a Dropbox type of file. Just like Rufy said, I want to see, what happens in between pitches, what kind of mannerisms they have, are they expressing any emotion, not just when they're squaring a ball up, off the left center wall or striking someone out. We actually had a video the other day sent, and it was an entire video, and one of the pitches backed up and hit the batter right in the spine, and the guy went down the ground. We were laughing, but it was the pitcher video that he sent, and we were thankful. It's like, usually they're just sending you pitches dotted up, on the black. But he showed us the whole outing, and he showed us the good, the bad, and everything. So yeah, I like it all right now.
I think, I'm going to go with Eric to you for the same question, but I think it's great when they show you the bad, because I feel like it's showing a level of confidence. Like, I'm not scared to show you this. I'm better than this, you know. I'll show you the bad. Like when you're trying to hide the bad, you're trying to hide something, right? Like if I show you me just having a terrible outing, well, this kid's pretty confident if he's going to show me this, right?
Yeah, I think probably early on, maybe like if I haven't heard anything about the player before, I kind of want to see just like the 5-second clip from that at bat, the 5 second. And then once you start getting deep and you're like, all right, this is a top guy, then yeah, let's see the whole thing. Because, you know, you got to narrow that field down. So when you start a little bit wider, you may not have the time to watch a whole 10-minute guy throw a whole inning. So once you start to narrow it down, then you can now work backwards and see the whole thing. But yeah, you don't want to hide. You don't want to hide the bad. I think it happens with our players. I think it happens with recruits that we're talking to. They'll always tell you the days they have a good game, right? But they won't ever tell you the days they went 0 for 4, 2 strikeouts, which we've been in it. You're going to fail. You're going to fail more times than you are successful. So we understand that. But I also want to make sure that kid doesn't lose his confidence as well. So if he has a bad day, what's his response? Was it the umpire's fault? Did the coach, you know, drop him down the lineup? Or did he just swing at some bad pitches and he'll get back on it tomorrow? And that's the stuff that I enjoy the conversations with him.
Coach Worth, if I'm a kid right now who's never had contact with you before, you have no idea who I am, what do I need to do to get on the board with you during this difficult time where you can't maybe come see me?
Send me an email. You know, give me a little background about you, give a video clip. I look at all my emails. There are a lot to sift through daily, but you know, yeah, that's the best way. I look at everyone.
Okay, so the complaint though to that is going to be, well, I'm going to get a camp email back, you know, or I'm going to get some standard response back. I mean, what do you do to make it different than that?
I mean, I'll reach out to their coach. I really like when they put their coaches' contacts on there, high school coaches, anything like that I could reach out to and do a little background check and get some more information.
Coach Roof, last question here to you. What would be the suggestion for recruits right now? Specifically, I'm focused on 2021s because that's the group I think is hurt the most here right now for sure. What would be the suggestion to them in terms of what kind of schools should they be focused on? How should they go about the process? And how should they think about maybe, you know, the commitment process and not maybe being able to see a school? Like, how is it different this year and what should they be thinking?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think the 21 class is hurting the most. I told our guys this, I told the recruits this. I think you need to spin it from a negative to a positive, right? So when anything happens in life, people are like, man, woe is me. Man, this would happen to me, right? I was going to get that scholarship offer this summer if I just had that opportunity. Well, try to get away from that because that's nothing that you can control. Yes, are your challenges going to be a little bit harder? Yes. Is there going to be maybe some fewer spots? Yes. But I think that if you're a good player, you're going to find a home and you're going to have a place to go. So you got to find a way to stand out. And if that means standing out, you send a guy an email every day, then you send a guy an email every day. If that means you're going to go out there and play in that tournament and be the best guy, when you're the best player on the field every time you play, you're going to get noticed. And like we just talked about how that recruiting circle is so tight, if I can't recruit that player and he's talking to a school, I can easily call up that coach and say, hey, man, we want this kid. He mentioned he doesn't want to come to Eastern Michigan. Hey, if I were you, I'd take a look at him. So just find a way to stand out. And I think that's anything in life, and spin it to a positive.
Coach Worth, I actually have one more question. Who is a better player, you or Coach Roof?
We are completely different, so there's no.
That's such a horseshit.
No,
He was a catcher. He was a catcher. I was left-hand hitting catcher. I was an infielder.
All right, so if we're playing a pickup game, who am I drafting first? Who's my first pick?
Can I share my screen, Josh, real quick? I've got
I don't know. Can you? Let me see. I think. Can you? Does it say you can?
Let's see. I don't know if I can. I'll have to send you.
Yeah, send me a picture of what it is after, and I'll put it in. What are you looking at?
This is. How about you type it in Google or in YouTube?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can do that. What is it? What am I looking up?
Danny Worst knuckleball. He's got a fierce knuckleball. So not only was he an infielder, he also pitched in the big leagues and had 2 strikeouts. And Verlander, I think Porcello and Scherzer are going crazy when he strikes out 2 out of 3 guys pitching in
Worth,
Detroit.
Worth uses
Let's see.
knuckler to fan a pair in relief.
Yes, that's it. Let's
All
play.
right.
Look who's on the mound. Danny Worth will take the hill for the Tigers. Here's the 1-2. Swing and a miss, struck him out. Huge round of applause for Danny Worth. Slice to left field, straight at Don Kelly. 2 gone. Got him, strike 3.
Ron Copa rung him up.
Danny Worth in his major league debut on the mound strikes out 2 and gets a standing O. Well, why not? We go to the bottom of the 9th.
Yes.
Embarrassing.
The guy that could do it all. He can do it all.
Oh man. All right. Coach Roof, Coach Worth, thank you guys very much. You stay well, and hopefully we're back out there soon.
All right. Thanks for having us.
Thanks
All
again,
right.
Josh. Appreciate it.